Hi, everybody. Welcome to my live stream. It's been a while. Thank y'all so much for being here. I didn't expect 45 people to be here at 2 o'clock. I know y'all are pretty busy, but thank you so much for being here. Can somebody confirm if you can hear me okay before I get started? Y'all know I've had my issues in the past. But while I wait for confirmation that y'all can hear me okay, we have so much to catch up on that I was like, you know what? Instead of doing a video each day, let's just do a live stream so I can get caught up on the things that I haven't talked about, especially since yesterday I actually didn't post a video. Thank you so much, Mina Ruth. Mina Ruth confirmed that you guys can hear me. Why is that so big? I have to figure this out. But yesterday I didn't post because I was at the DMV all day. Y'all know how that can be. So by the time I got home, I was like, I'm not going to be good to anybody. Nobody wants to hear from me in this state. They had your girl down. But anyway, we have so much to catch up on. Harry and Meghan have hit the ground running with Archewell Foundation. Ever since it launched, it has just been constant progress. They have been covering so much ground, and it feels like near the end of the year, and I could say the same about last year, it seems like that's when things come out at a very rapid pace. I've said this a couple of times on the channel. Harry and Meghan own the fall and the winter season because they always release really good projects around that time. And so I'm so excited, right, Veronica Quick? I'm so excited to talk about some of the things that they've got going on. Veronica Quick said the DMV will hold you captive. Girl, okay. I'm not going to hold y'all up. We're going to get to the topic, but let me just say this real quick. I walked into the DMV. The one that I had to go to was 30 minutes from my house. So that wasn't a fun drive, but, and it was all highway and congestion, and it was just a mess. So I got to the DMV and I walk in and they're like, hey, what are you here to do? And I said, surrender my driver's license and acquire my Texas driver's license. And the guy was like, oh, what state? And I said, from Florida. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry, we don't take Florida license. You can't surrender that license here. You have to go to a different DMV. And this is me waiting 3 months for an appointment. I tried, the first available was 3 months after we got here. So I was like, what? That wasn't anywhere on your website. And he was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know why it wasn't on the website, but you can't surrender that here. I apologize for the inconvenience. Have a great day. He even went as far as saying, sir, I can help you, to the guy behind me. So I was like, oh my God. I'm like, I open the door and I have like, I'm so irritated. I got tears. You know how when you're so frustrated that, you know, if you speak, it'll be ugly. And this isn't the target of my stress. So I didn't say anything, but I had tears in my eyes and he was like, I'm just kidding. Come on in. I said, see, some stuff ain't a joke. I was on the edge. I was like, you know what? I would have rather you cuss me out than play a joke like that. But he was nice about it, but he was getting on my nerves. So anyway, that's why I chose not to talk yesterday or post anything, just because I was frazzled and my bun was all frazzled. You could see it on my face. I was just down. So I just played Red Dead Redemption. So anyway, we have so much ground to cover. Thank y'all so much for being here. Mina Ruth said, damn, I know you were mad. I was mad. I rarely get mad. I usually just get irritated. I try to be in touch with my feelings. Like, am I mad or am I irritated? Am I frustrated? Am I feeling down? Do I feel insecure? Like, what is this feeling? I really try my best to identify feelings properly. I was mad. I was close to rabid. I was like, instead of, usually when somebody upsets me, I just get quiet. I'm like, I literally had the crazy eyes. I was like, really? I was mad. But anyway, we made it through and we got through it. Barely, by the hair on my chinny chin, we got through it. But anyway, we have some Sussexes.com updates, some Archewell.org updates, People Magazine exclusives. Y'all, we got a lot. We got so much to go going on. So keep the comments coming in the live chat after the first segment. Then I will respond to them and we'll get this discussion off. Is it off the rails? Whatever it is, we'll get this discussion started. Oh my God, 100 of y'all are here. Welcome, 100 people. Thank y'all for watching. All right, let's get started. Harry and Meghan's Archewell Foundation partners with Ashley Biden to empower women who've experienced trauma. This exclusive is coming directly from the Archewell Foundation Impact Report for 2023 and 2024. However, People Magazine published a great article breaking down this information, and I thought it would be fun to read it. The title of this article is Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, and Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, partner with Ashley Biden to empower women impacted by trauma. The Duke and Duchess of Sussexes Archewell Foundation is a founding partner in Ashley Biden's Philadelphia Wellness Hub for Women, and this article was written by Janine Henney and Aaron Hill. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, and Prince Harry's annual report for the Archewell Foundation reveals the charity's connection to a nonpartisan initiative launched by Ashley Biden, People Can Exclusively Reveal. On December 2nd, the Archewell Foundation published its impact report for the 2023-24 year, showcasing the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's ongoing philanthropic efforts through the organization they founded in 2020, while also highlighting their support for Ashley's Women's Wellness Center. According to the report, which was exclusively shared with People, the Archewell Foundation is a founding partner of the Women's Wellness Space, a trauma-informed wellness center for women in North Philadelphia created by Ashley Biden. Ashley is the daughter of President Joe Biden and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden and a social worker by trade. According to the Archewell Foundation's 2023 tax records reviewed by People, the organization donated $250,000 to the women's wellness space. Quote, I just had to jump in real quick. This look of Meghan is one of my all-time faves. Hair, makeup, dress, all of purse, everything, their coordination. I had to stop and say that real quick. This has really nothing to do with this segment, but this look is just chef's kiss. Anyway, let's continue. Drawing from her experience with the criminal justice system, Biden's initiative is inspired by her work with Mural Art's Women Reentry Program, providing support and opportunities for formerly incarcerated women, the impact report said about the connection. The center aims to offer a safe space and community for women impacted by trauma, providing resources such as nutritious foods, exercise, meditation, and therapeutic interventions. People understands that the women's wellness space closely aligns with Archewell Foundation's mission to elevate mental health, a core belief of the organization's work. As founding partners, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex resonated with the center's commitment to supporting women in need. Meghan has long made uplifting women and girls a priority of her public work, with a focus on programs promoting empowerment, well-being, and social justice. A Linktree describes the women's wellness space as a mindfully designed drop-in wellness center for women in Philadelphia. A photo shared in the impact report shows a group sitting in a circle in a sunlit room with plants, a glowing votive on a center table. People confirms that the hub is operational, and Ashley's interview with Elle, published in March of 2023, referenced her hopes to open a wellness space for women impacted by trauma with Mural Arts Philadelphia, the country's largest public art program. The Philadelphia location takes Ashley back to where she earned her master's in social work through the University of Pennsylvania before taking jobs at the Delaware's Department of Services for Children, Youth, and Their Families, and Delaware Center for Justice, both located in the Biden family's home state. The Elle interview said that the first daughter imagined the center as a drop-in space where women can eat a healthy meal, hit the treadmill or box, listen to guided meditation, and access therapies including EMDR and infrared saunas, what Ashley herself has found effective and wants to share with others. Wow! Quote, I was able to get great treatment, and so I've been able to take some of those things that I've learned in therapy and use them as well, Ashley said at the time. EMDR did wonders for me when it came to my brother's death, she said, explaining that she navigated PTSD after the death of her brother, Beau Biden, who died in 2015 at the age of 46 after being diagnosed with brain cancer. Quote, if you have money and something happens, you can go get the best therapist you can find, she told Elle. That doesn't happen for people who are living in poverty. News of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's support for Ashley's women's wellness space was included in the portion of the report titled Uplifting Women and Girls. The three other focuses of the 16-page impact report were community well-being, investing in information integrity, and collaborating for impact, looking back at Harry and Meghan's work and these themes through the year. The report called the Archewell Foundation's Parents Network and the Welcome Project as its principal programs, and the Archewell Foundation's co-executive directors, James Holt and Shauna Knepp, reiterated its motto, show up, do good. In a world that often feels fractured, there are moments that cut through the noise, reminding us of our strength when we stand together. Resilience, courage, and a commitment to something greater than ourselves, Holt and Knepp said. This year at the Archewell Foundation, we've witnessed the transformative power of human connection, of people reaching across divides to uplift one another.
His example in service inspired my career. I'm a social worker in Philadelphia. I support formerly incarcerated women as they heal from past trauma and they reclaim their lives. Dad always told me that I was no better than anybody else and nobody was better than me. He taught me that everyone deserves a fair shot and that we shouldn't leave anyone behind. That's what you learn from a fighter who has been underestimated his entire life.
The Duchess of Sussex brought a message of women's empowerment to the University of Johannesburg on Tuesday, and she's using her time to promote the importance of education to foster gender equality.
When a woman is empowered, it changes absolutely everything in the community, and starting an educational atmosphere is really a key point of that.
Meghan announced 3 new gender grants for South African universities to support women in higher education and research roles.
Conversation about women's empowerment with just women, right? And so for that reason, it made complete sense for him to join today. So thank you for letting him crash.
Everyone should be afforded the opportunity to receive education that they want, but more importantly, the education that they have the right to receive. And for women and girls in developing countries, this is vital. Providing them with access to education is the key to economic and social development.
If you're a young girl and you see yourself in a position of power or strength or leadership, you can believe that that is possible. If you look out on the screen or you look out in the world and you see no one that looks like you, it is incomprehensible for most people to imagine that they can have that level of success or joy or strength, whatever it may be. And, you know, the key thing that I think needs to be focused on in terms of equity is that it's not a zero-sum game. Just because someone else has the same advantage that you do doesn't mean that you're losing anything. And it actually creates an environment that is so fair, but also inclusive, where people feel as though they have a seat at the table, as they should. Your voice is not small. It just needs to be heard.
Yeah. Okay, so that was actually pretty incredible. Seeing Harry and Meghan work with Ashley Biden, it actually makes a lot of sense. It's definitely aligned. But I actually didn't know about the wellness spa that Ashley Biden had. I knew that she was a social worker, but I didn't know that she had that, mental health spa, the wellness spa. So I thought that was really cool. And I also thought it was great that they've found a way to be impactful from their own work, but then also to invest in other people doing the work as well. It's just one of the ways that they cover ground in those areas for those issues. And it's a way to get results quicker and help more people and expand their impact. But when I saw that, I was just so impressed. As a matter of fact, I went through the Archewell Impact Report, which I have a little summary later. And to see the companies and the groups and the foundations and the charities that they've chosen to partner with says everything about their mission, but also it tells me that they're only going to continue to improve and progress, and the sky is really the limit. I mentioned it, and I don't want to keep repeating the same points, but I mentioned it before that as they continue to grow, as they continue to show up, it really does quiet the noise. And I appreciate that they use the term cut through the noise, because that's exactly what they do. Their work, especially at the high level that they're executing at, their work absolutely cuts through the noise, because you can say all day that you don't like Meghan. You can say all day that you don't like Harry. You can have whatever opinion you want to, but what you can't argue is the results. So you can sit over there with your wrong opinion, or you can get on the winning team. As Nene would say, Nene Leakes would say, you on the wrong team. Get with your team, because truly, how are you mad at people for trying to help the world improve? You also benefit from that. And I mentioned to y'all, that was like a petty point that I had about, I hate that the people, even the people that they don't like, benefit from the work that they do. I wish there was a way we could isolate them and say, not you, you don't get the help. But that's just me being petty. But yeah, I just thought that was amazing. And I actually didn't know a lot about Ashley Biden, but this sent me down a little rabbit hole. I love when I find out about not new people, but I've become wiser about people. And I get to learn about their backgrounds and the work that they do, because when I'm donating, I try to donate once a month. When I'm donating, I like to have a diverse group of charities that I donate to. I have monthly donations all the time, but I have like a little spot where I donate to 3 new places or charities every month. And so having this information and being able to become wiser about who is out here doing the work and what charities and foundations are up and running, it really does help me to kind of expand my impact as well. So I just think the work that they're doing is great. And I was really excited to talk about that. Now let's get to some of these comments. Let's see. Hi, Cornelli. It's nice to see you. Oh, I love your chinoiserie profile pic. That is so cool. Okay, it says, yes, they have to admit that the Sussexes are the blueprint. Yes, they have to admit it because it's true. They can't argue it. And the fact that they have found a way to do the work without any of the aid that the other royals get, but also contributing their own resources to the work that they do and maximizing their impact on all fronts. They're executing at a high level. There's nothing negative you could say about the work that they do. They are blazing a new trail. They are pioneering a new way to be not only a public figure, but a philanthropist and a royal. But anyway, let me finish the comment. It says, because look, Kate was only working on maintaining the rift between the palace and the Sussexes to be sure that they will stay away. Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes even see, when you are an alchemist, and I have learned that about Miss Meghan, she is an alchemist. You can take whatever energy is thrown at you and turn it into some good for yourself. And I said that before when I saw that she had the evil eye on her. I said, oh, Meghan said, return to sender, keep your energy. But one thing that I've noticed about her, she is an alchemist. Both of them are. Whatever energy you send their way, it's going to benefit them in some way. So even if you are directing anger at them, even if you are directing jealousy, envy, hatred, whatever it is, that energy will only be propelled to some form of good for them. I have a great respect for alchemists. And it's one of the things that as you mature and become more emotionally mature, it's one of the things that you learn to do. Another pro at it is Beyonce. I remember when her song Break My Soul came out, the remix, and she says, release all your anger to me, give it to me. That's part of the alchemy. Whatever you feel about me, send that energy my way. I'm only going to transform it. And that's exactly what Harry and Meghan have done. People have found all kinds of fairy tales to make up about them. People have found all kinds of ways to try and discredit their work while always omitting the voices of the people they actually help, by the way. Notice they never ask anybody from Scotty's Little Soldiers to weigh in on Harry and Meghan, or a Well Child Awards or the Diana Award. They never want to hear about people who actually work with Harry and Meghan. They only want to talk to people who are scorned, racist, misogynistic, or who have never met them, or whose friend of a friend of a friend worked for them, and I happen to know that they were rude. First of all, your friend of a friend is a lie, and you don't know Harry and Meghan, but they get to be used as unnamed sources and say whatever they want. But no matter what's said, no matter what rumors, no matter what drama is out there about them, they don't acknowledge it whatsoever. And good for them. Notice I didn't talk at all about the last 3 months of rumors saying that they were separating. Because for what? For what? Those people don't look nowhere near separated. First of all, if you think Harry and Meghan are separated, then I have a bridge to sell you. Because at the end of the day, those are the two most in love royal couple I've ever seen. Ever. Ever. None of the royals are as affectionate as Harry and Meghan, and none of the royals speak about each other the way that they speak about each other. I saw an OK Magazine headline on Instagram, and I just happened to scroll past it. I don't even follow OK, but something Instagram has been doing lately is forcing other accounts onto your feed even when you don't follow them, which really gets under my skin. But OK Magazine had a headline that said Meghan was hysterical, and it's still up. You can go see it. Meghan was hysterical when she disobeyed Prince Harry's #1 strict rule about interviewing. And then they had concocted this picture to make it look like they were angry. And I commented and said, nothing that this couple has ever said or done or portrayed on camera or otherwise has ever indicated that they would speak to one another that way, that would oppress one another or mistreat one another in this way. What you are spreading is misinformation. And I reported them. Now, hopefully by the end of the week, it'll be down, but they've had a slew of headlines like that. And it just goes to show you people will say and do whatever they want to. You just have to focus on the work. You just have to cut through the noise. And that's why I respect Harry and Meghan. I didn't mean to go through all that, y'all. I've been chatting. Hi, NoVD. NoVD says, wow, how much more can they be involved in? Well, they're going to show us. They're definitely going to show us. They are covering so much ground, and it is inspiring. Now, I don't have anywhere near the resources they have, but the little resources I have and the ones I just scrape on up, y'all be sending me little Cash Apps and Venmos. And the first thing I do is, okay, where I'm going to donate this out, where I'm going to give this out, because it's inspiring to not only follow their work, but to be an adult in this day and age. We know what we're up against. We are about to endure another 4 years here in America of complete and utter nonsense. And to stay focused on something positive is essential because it can get pretty harrowing. So following Harry and Meghan's work has been somewhat of a reprieve as well. Not only has it enlightened me about other organizations doing the work that they're doing and other ways I can get involved, but it has enlightened me about what I can do to stay focused on what's good in the world and just power through this next 4 years, because we are in for a wild ride. But I don't want to make it a negative podcast, but oh Lord. Hi, LMZ Lifestyle and Fragrance Beauty. LMZ says, when Meghan speaks, someone is speaking. Wow. Yeah, she's an excellent public speaker. She always has really great gems, but I appreciate how you can tell Meghan is wildly intelligent. She has an excellent vocabulary, but I appreciate how the way she speaks, you hang on to every word. She doesn't take off and leave her audience. A lot of really smart people are not great public speakers because when they talk, they use a lot of big words or they speak in riddles. A lot of celebrities speak in freaking riddles. I hate it. Whenever celebrities get interviewed, they'll be like, so how did you, get to where you are? The sun set and I was enlightened with the starships. And it's like, oh my God, can you just be like, I had a good manager? Like, can you just give us a direct answer? So I appreciate that both Harry and Meghan, when they give speeches or do any kind of interview or panel, they speak directly and they use verbiage that you can actually keep up with. And they don't speak in riddles. They're pretty transparent. They're both really good speakers, but she has this quality of, I think it's probably because she's an actress too. She has a quality of keeping you engaged as well. So not just listening to her, but feeling like she's actually talking to you. That's not an easy skill to acquire. I tried to join the debate team in high school and I did okay, but because I get angry, debate did not work out for me because every time somebody said something that got under my skin, I could never just get back to the facts. I would be personally irritated with them, like as a human being. Like I would, after my first little debate, my little minor debate, I was walking around the school not talking to her after a while. I was like, I ain't gonna talk to that heifer. She was arguing with me. Like, no, ma'am, you have to debate. But debate, public speaking, prose, all of those take a lot of skill and a lot of focus. And trust me, as someone who has tried my hand at it, it's definitely a skill. So I guess some people have it and some people don't. Let me get to more of these comments. Hi, Gwen Daniel. It's always a pleasure to see you. Gwen Daniel says, that's absolutely disgusting. Harry and Meghan are too respectful for each other. They are very respectful of one another. They always speak very highly of one another, and they never speak down to each other. As a matter of fact, we saw a moment where they were talking about something that was conflictual when it came to Simon. Was it Simon case? Whatever. It came down to the Harry and Meghan docuseries, and they were talking about Prince William sending someone, I cannot remember, my brain is literally off, to testify against Meghan or whatever. And she was irritated and she was about to say what she felt like she needed to say. And then she said, you know what? I'm not going to talk about your brother. Like, ma'am, because see, if it had been me, I would have said, cut the camera. Now let me tell you about your big head ass brother. Like, we would have had a real conversation. I would say, put him on speakerphone. Put him on speakerphone. We're going to talk about it. They would have had to give me a gag order. Like, ma'am, you cannot keep calling William and cussing him out. Who can't? Bet I would have been on that phone every day cussing him out. The sun would have rose and I would have been like, I see you looking at the sun rising with your big head ass. Like, I would have just harassed him. Let me just be honest. But no, he did a great job, or she did a great job of maintaining her composure, even when she was being wildly tested. And I was very proud of her. It's a great example of the type of person she is. But if you remember in Spare, Prince Harry also said that no matter what was said about her, especially when it came down to the bullying allegations and the way that she was being spoken about and treated when she was in the royal family, she never spoke an ill word against anyone. He said that outright. He said no matter what was said about her, no matter what lies came out, she never spoke ill about anyone. I feel like that takes a lot of maturity, but also I think that's just a spirit thing. She just has that gentle spirit, and it's probably because you can tell Doria is the same way. She just kind of has that gentle energy. You don't reciprocate what's given to you. You always operate from your own personal place of dignity, and that can be hard. That can be hard because I sure would have been calling Prince William's phone and cussing him out every couple of weeks. They would have called my husband and been like, "Can you tell her to stop leaving me voicemails?" This is getting scary. But anyway, hi, Cornelli. Cornelli says, all the time they are using the psychological tactic of projection to point on the Sussexes about separation. But we squatties, Sussex squatties, are not that naive to put, I think it's to poke through. I think I saw you correct that, to poke through their distractions. 100%. I was not going to touch those rumors. I said, there's no point in this. First of all, it's a waste of time when we could be talking about something else that's interesting. We're going to be talking about something that's clearly a lie. That's like saying Sharion has never worn a bun in her life. Why would you? I often have a ball on the top of this head. You know that's not true. I wouldn't argue about something silly. Wasting your energy it only ends up costing you. So I didn't talk about that. And I actually thought it was pretty preposterous that people could just make up, like, it's actually kind of strange that people can just make up a narrative and apply it and people actually believe it. Like even the fact that saying that Meghan was hysterical. According to whom? Did she call and tell you that? Because if she was going to get hysterical, she could have a long time ago, and she probably should have. But the fact that that's not even in her nature, it really does bother me. I can take a lot, but please don't lie. Like you can even say, I perceive this as in this way, but to just make up a lie is just, hell is not hot enough. Some of them, not y'all, the people in my life aren't like that. But some of those people are going to learn one day. Let's see here. Hi, Mina Ruth. Mina Ruth says, exactly, like these fools really need to stop trying, Harry and Meghan. Like, stop poking the bear before you get what you asked for. The day when more of those lawsuits roll out, I'm going to be on, well, I'm not on Twitter anymore. I'm going to be on Blue Sky reading them. I can't wait. A lot of people are probably going to get a rude awakening because I am a believer in letting people have enough rope to hang themselves. And I actually appreciate that. Let people go far enough to where you have more than enough evidence to take action and take real action. Be swift about it. I appreciate that. So I appreciate that Harry and Meghan stay focused on the work, and whatever might come of these false stories, I hope they just remember that they earned it outright. Whatever punishment comes their way, they earned it. Anyway, I have talked long enough. Let's get to segment 2. Please continue commenting in the discussion board or in the live chat, and then we'll continue the discussion when I come back. The Archewell Foundation raised $5.3 million in its third year, dispelling the missing millions myth, and People magazine has the story. The title of this article is Meghan and Harry's Archewell Foundation raises $5.3 million in third year, dispelling missing millions claim, exclusive. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex's charity saw a significant increase, more than doubling the previous year's funds raised, with $1.3 million directed toward charitable causes. This article was written by Aaron Hill. Before we even get into this article, I have to say, even at the time of those, quote, rumors and concerns and all of that nonsense about Archewell being delinquent and also that there were missing millions, I said then, I think every squatty who talked about it said it then, it's deflection, as always, but also those concerns and claims and rumors were brought about by people who do not have a background in finance or taxes. These are people who do not have an accounting background or any kind of professional standing or expertise in accounting and taxes. These are people who are doing either regular jobs or journalism or whatever, but not taxes, not finance, not accounting. These are people who were trying to drum up a story to deflect from some good that Harry and Meghan were doing or some scandal from the royal family. There was never any merit to those claims, but I'm glad that People magazine decided to circle back and confirm. Meghan and Harry's charitable organization, the Archewell Foundation, has reported growth in its third year of operation, receiving $5.3 million in grants, more than double the $2 million raised the previous year. People can exclusively reveal. According to the Foundation's 2023 tax records, reviewed by People, the Sussexes nonprofit organization allocated $1.3 million of the over $5 million raised to charitable causes. These figures cover the period from January to December of 2023. I also appreciate that People magazine made it clear that they aren't getting this information from a source or from hearsay. They confirmed by reviewing the tax records themselves. I appreciate that they put that note in there. Archewell, which the couple launched in 2020 shortly after stepping back from their roles as senior working royals, received a $5 million donation from an individual donor, as well as $335,000 from 5 separate individual contributors. People understands that Archewell's efforts, including initiatives like the Parents Network and other community-based programs, have attracted more backing, leading to higher funding and assets at the end of the year. The funds will be used to support ongoing projects and expand the foundation's network. Contrary to previous reports that suggested $4 million had been unreported in Archewell's 2022 tax return, the charity has clarified that all funds were properly accounted for, and that sum is reflected in the current tax filing for the 2023 fiscal year. People understands. I also want to pause there. Again, everyone who said that Archewell was delinquent or that they were missing millions are people without a background in finance or accounting. Everyone with a brain or who's worked in any kind of capacity with accounting or finance knew that it had to come down to timing. But again, these are people, we're combating people who are looking for something to complain about and looking for some sort of scandal with Harry and Meghan. They're not going to find it. And part of the reason they're not going to find anything is because Archewell and Harry and Meghan themselves operate with this level of transparency. You can account for every single penny when it comes to that charity. In separate reports for the 2022-2023 fiscal year, benefactor Fidelity Charitable disclosed a contribution of $6 million to Archewell, while Tisbest Philanthropy reported a grant of $10,000. Archewell, however, confirmed that it received 2 separate $1 million grants from anonymous donors. Now, which one of you squatties donated that? I need a new pair of shoes. Hopefully you're listening. Whoever that anonymous donor was, my Cash App is open. This discrepancy in reported amounts stems from differences in the timing of the grants, which has been clarified in the charity's current filing. Again, this is not news to us. We literally said that at the time. Archewell's total revenue for the year, including investment income, amounted to $5.7 million. The charity's tax filing also disclosed the couple's nominal 1 hour per week involvement in Archewell's operations, a standard practice for directors of U.S. tax-exempt organizations. Again, People magazine coming through with the receipts. Thank you. I was about to say that if they had mentioned it. Thank you. That is standard when it comes to founders. The filing also confirmed that Meghan and Harry do not receive any salary from the foundation. The tax records outline salaries for several key staff members. James Holt, co-executive director, received a $228,500 salary, along with $18,428 in benefits. Co-executive director Shauna Knepp was compensated with a salary of $272,241 and additional benefits totaling $26,356. The tax return also revealed other key expenditures, including $997,285 in salary costs and just over $1 million in overall expenses. These expenses cover legal fees, event costs, and travel, with notable spending on the foundation's public-facing initiatives like last year's World Mental Health Day event in New York City. Like I said, you can account for every penny when it comes to Archewell. The year-over-year increase in expenses is attributed to the expansion of key programs, such as the Welcome Project, which is fostering community support for refugees, and the continued growth of Archewell's Parents Network. The $1.3 million in grants distributed by the foundation is also featured in Archewell's annual impact report, which details how these funds supported a range of crucial causes, including mental health initiatives, online safety, community building, empowerment of women and girls, and efforts to combat misinformation. Notable contributions include $250,000 to Ashley Biden's Women's Wellness Space, a trauma-informed wellness center for women in North Philadelphia. Ashley, the daughter of President Joe Biden and Dr. Jill Biden, is a social worker whose work with Mural Arts Women's Reentry Program, which supports formerly incarcerated women, inspired her to create the Wellness Center. People understands that the center's mission to provide a safe haven and community for women impacted by trauma, offering resources like nutritious food, exercise, meditation, and therapeutic interventions, aligns closely with Archewell's mental health initiatives. As founding partners, Meghan and Harry resonated with the center's commitment to supporting women in need. A central focus of the Duchess of Sussex's work continues to be uplifting women and girls, with substantial support directed towards programs that promote empowerment, well-being, and social justice. The foundation also contributed $130,000 to Humanity Crew, a mental health organization dedicated to preventing trauma among displaced children and their families through emergency psychological interventions and training. According to the tax report, $50,000 was directed to providing mental health support to aid workers in Israel and Gaza, while $80,000 was allocated to support mental health services for aid workers in Turkey and Syria. Just amazing. Additionally, Archewell donated $90,000 to The Markup, a nonprofit newsroom investigating the societal impact of technology. Over the past year, The Markup has focused on protecting vulnerable communities from the spread of misinformation and disinformation. In 2024, the organization is intensifying its efforts to produce high-quality journalism while educating the public on how to identify technological manipulation and access reliable information. The foundation also gives $125,000 to the NAACP to support digital civil rights initiatives. Archewell has partnered with the NAACP on the Digital Civil Rights Award, which honors individuals transforming the digital landscape for the better. In 2024, the award was presented to Dr. Joy Buolamwini, founder of the Algorithmic Justice League, for her pioneering work in addressing racial and gender biases in artificial intelligence systems. In Archewell's 2024 Impact Report, co-executive directors James Holt and Shauna Knepp shared, quote, "Our purpose is simple yet impactful, to show up and do good, to drive positive change, rally for communities in need, and nurture spaces where everyone is seen, valued, and supported. In 2024, we were honored to work alongside communities, families, and individuals who, despite facing tremendous hardship, are redefining what's possible." Since the launch of the Archewell Foundation, Harry and Meghan have not slowed down. They immediately hit the ground running, and we have seen nothing but progress ever since. And it's been years now, about 3 years, and we haven't seen them slow down yet. As a matter of fact, this year in particular, we've seen a significant uptick in their output. I can definitely see why more donors would be attracted to contributing to the Archewell Foundation. Their output has been immense this year, and if you zoom out for the past 3 years, we've gotten frequent updates nearly every single month with an update, a new partnership, a new affiliation, a new program launch. They have hit the ground running, and it's clear that their entire team is extremely dedicated, skilled, and efficient in what they do. This year in particular, we've seen Harry and Meghan take several trips internationally and partner with organizations globally. That covers so much ground, but it also maximizes the amount of people that you can actually affect with your good works. I can definitely see why more donors would be invested in the progress of Archewell Foundation, and I'm not surprised that they've seen an increase in donations. I hope to see them continue to increase, which I feel very assured that they will. And I also am very proud of Harry and Meghan for dedicating themselves to the work. No matter what the media is saying about them, no matter what the tabloids are saying about them, they don't respond to the noise, they rise above, and they focus on what's important. And honestly, I've been trying to commit myself more to that side of things. I've been trying to commit myself more to talking about what's important and kind of letting the hearsay and the nonsense kind of fall below the wayside. Those things will exist regardless of what you do. Harry and Meghan could literally get the United States out of debt. They could literally pay for every single person's student loans or student debt. They could literally take every human being out of poverty. They could fight every war, just the two of them, and beat the opponent. They could do anything. And there will be people who have nothing but negative things to say. And I feel like they've accepted that. I don't feel like, I know that they've accepted that there are people who would just simply commit themselves to being detractors, no matter how much good they do. And that's why their focus isn't on proving those people wrong. It's on proving their supporters right. It's on making sure they're covering ground and helping people who are in need. As they committed themselves to years ago, they are focused on providing aid, help, and support to underserved communities and under-resourced areas. And that is where their attention is. The media's relationship to Harry and Meghan is precarious at best. One day they love them, the next day they hate them. It just really depends on the day. And it's also down to the same publication, but different reporters. For example, Janine Henney and Aaron Hill typically write more factual and positive articles about Harry and Meghan, but their their colleague from the same publication, Simon Perry, he's written positive articles about Harry and Meghan, and he even reported on them exclusively in Nigeria. However, upon his return, he published several false exclusives and used unnamed sources. So you really can't tell based on the publication anymore. It's down to reporter. It's case-by-case basis. All of it is clickbait. All of it is tabloid fodder. But I definitely lean towards people who are more factual and are trying to actually report what's important, not the fodder, not the nonsense. That's part of the reason why I feel like Harry and Meghan have just kind of let that fall by the wayside. They just do their thing. However you perceive that is totally up to you. I'm going to let you have that experience, but I'm certainly not going to make it my responsibility to make you feel one way or the other. And I think that's the best way to move forward. And I feel like every adult should come to that point at some point in your life. You have to just realize you're not for everybody. Everybody's not going to feel a way about you. And honestly, feel positively about you. But honestly, how people receive you has a lot more to do with themselves than it could ever have to do with you. Can you rub people the wrong way sometimes? Absolutely. But there are experiences that you have with people that result in a negative interaction. And you're like, wait, I was perfectly nice to you. Right. But you triggered them in some way because that was about them. And I feel like that's the story, a tale as old as time. That's the story of Harry and Meghan. They trigger people because one, they're looking for the other shoe to drop. They want them to fail because of their own biases and hangups. And the fact that they're not really grinds their gears. So they've committed themselves to being a detractor. No matter how much good Harry and Meghan do, they will find something wrong with it. We actually have those people in our own lives as individuals. I'm sure you've met someone that no matter what you say, they have a retort, they have a judgment, they have a criticism. I used to work for someone like that, and it is exhausting. You have to just let people feel how they feel. And one of the most powerful stances you can have in this world is to just let people be wrong about you. I have actually, for the past few years, stopped responding to people who question me. Now, it's one thing to ask me a question. It's another thing to question me. When people question my character, when people question my integrity, and I know that I've never given them a reason to do so, I let them have that. I'll say, if that's really what you think of me, you're more than welcome to feel that way. But what I'm not going to do is explain myself. What I'm not going to do is show you proof and vie for your approval. I could give a damn if you like me or not. and I'm not even trying to be ugly. The people I love and I care about, they would never believe certain things about me. They would never fall into certain beliefs about me. And so if you're questioning my character, my morals, or integrity, then you are clearly not close enough with me to even have an opinion one way or the other. So I'm going to let you do your thing. And that's how we have to operate. We cannot continue to bend ourselves and stretch ourselves to oblivion to make every single person happy, because it is simply not possible. More often than not, when we are adjusting anything about ourselves to vie for the approval or attention of someone else, one, we're not going to get it. They are not going to validate us. So you're actually signing yourself up for a lifelong battle to win a person's approval who will simply not give it to you because it's you. So you have to ask yourself, am I really up for that? And two, you're putting this person on a pedestal to look down on you, and they will absolutely take it. Again, ask yourself, should I be doing that? And if it's yes to both of those, then by all means, I will wait for you to come to this realization, because you'll get there sooner or later. But the fact of the matter is, they're not going to give you the validation because it's you. The fact of the matter is, they're not going to like you because they've chosen not to. And there's nothing you can do about that. Once you accept it, and I practice radical acceptance, once you accept that, you will stop caring if people perceive you or experience you in the right way. Like I said before, I no longer respond to misjudgments. I no longer respond to mischaracterizations. I let people feel or think or behave however the hell they want to. You cannot change people. More so, you cannot change people's perception of you, because people's experience in this world has so much more to do with themselves, their experiences, their own perception, and the way they feel about themselves. The way you feel about yourself definitely resonates with how you feel about the rest of the world. Because when you wake up and you feel good and you feel great and you had a good breakfast and you brushed your teeth and the toothpaste was just extra minty, the water was just extra cold, the toothbrush was just extra perfect, you got every crevice, nook, and cranny, the mouthwash tasted good and spicy like you like, you had a great breakfast, a great drink, you took your multivitamin, you had a good workout, did your hair, and everything came out just right, every curl in the right place, eyebrows match, twins today. Those who do makeup understand. You got twin eyebrows, which is a rarity. Got your mascara on. You're looking good. You're feeling good. Your clothes fit exactly like you expected them to. You walk into work and there's a sourpuss. Hey, good morning. How you doing? Another Monday. What are you going to do? Are you going to stop and be like, yeah, I hate Mondays? Hell no. You're going to walk right on past and say, oh, I hope it gets better. Have a good day. And you're going to keep it pushing because you feel good about you. And so your perception of the world reflects that. And so even when other people have a negative way of thinking or a negative experience, you're not going to let that touch you because you're already riding a high, versus on the days where you wake up and you're like, I really shouldn't have had that last shot of tequila. Should have known better. Or you wake up and you ran out of toothpaste and you forgot to go to the market. So now you got to do that squeeze and push and roll it up to get as much of it as you can out of it. And the water was lukewarm for some reason. It don't taste good. You're out of mouthwash. So you're like, crap, I didn't do my last step. Then you go in there and you don't have anything for breakfast. Your apple that you were going to eat, that you got your mouth ready for, is warped. It had a bruise on the other side. Now you can't eat it. Then you get in the car. You don't have no gas. Then you get to the gas station. None of the pumps are ready. They all got the little bag on them, so you can't pump gas. Now you got to go to another gas station. Then your car don't work. For whatever reason, your car don't work. So now you got to go into work. Hopefully you get there. You walk in and someone else is like, hey, I'm having the time of my life. How are you this morning? That's probably not going to affect you either because you just had a shitty morning. And so instead of adopting their energy, you're probably going to be like, it's all right. Good morning. You're going to be low energy. Because the way you perceive the world is reflected by how you feel about yourself that day or your experiences that day. And so I use that analogy or that example as an analogy for you cannot change people's perception of you or anything else. I have actually adopted the practice of not trying to change people's minds about things. If you want to be wrong, I let you do that. That has brought me so much peace because I have been most of my life one of those people that feels like I have to prove my point all the time. I'll keep going. I'll nag and nag and nag, and I'll prove and I'll pull out receipts until I realize they don't give a damn. They knew you were telling the truth. They just don't like you. Or they're really committed to whatever their belief system is. And you got to let them have that because you'll work yourself up into a tizzy trying to convince people, see, I am a good person. See, I am doing good. See, I'm blah, 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 until the point that you don't even believe it your damn self. You will sit there and succumb to their misconceptions of you to the point that you're like, damn, you are so convicted in the fact that I'm this version of me. Am I this version of me? You will allow them to gaslight you. Don't ever let anybody tell you who you are. Don't ever let anybody tell you what you are. You know who you are. You stand on business. If somebody doesn't know you, if somebody doesn't get you, if somebody doesn't understand you, I actually had somebody say, I don't get you. And I said, and I could give a damn. And of course, then it was, oh, I was just joking, Sharion. I was kidding. I was like, okay, well, don't joke with me like that. I will stand on business. I will sit there. I will let you apologize to me. I would rather apologize to you down the line for going overboard than have to apologize to myself for not advocating for me. And if you're willing to come up to me and say some disrespectful shit, then you should be willing to get what I got coming to you. You have to advocate for yourself. You do not have anything to prove to anyone in this world, and you stand on business. This is a great example of what happens when you stand on business, when you believe in yourself and you let people feel how they feel about you. The media has been ripping Harry and Meghan to pieces. They have lied about every single thing they have done. Even in this case, we see that there has been a significant increase in donations to the Archewell Foundation, and we've also seen an uptick in their output. Those two things are correlated, by the way. That's why you donate to foundations who are doing the work so that the work can get done. Aside from that, we've seen the media rip every single thing Harry and Meghan have done to shreds. But for the people that Harry and Meghan show up for, the participants at Scotty's Little Soldiers, the participants in the Welcome Project, the Parents Network. These are people who've actually met Harry and Meghan, and these are people who are going to give you the genuine, true accounts of what it is to be around them, to know them, to meet them, and experience them. The media doesn't have access to them. So they've committed themselves to being detractors because how dare you stop me from making you into whatever I want you to I want my readers to believe you are so that I can get clicks and make more money. How dare you not sell yourself out for my gain? They have an axe to grind and a grudge to bear, and they're not going to go quietly. The best thing for Harry and Meghan to do, which is exactly what they've done and what I'm advising you do in your own life, let them be mad. You have to let people do what they're going to do. Because whether you give them advice or not, whether you try to convince them one way or the other or not, whether you warp yourself into their ideal, whatever thing that they want you to be, they're going to feel how they feel regardless. And you are not subject to their whims. You belong to you. Act accordingly. Because as Harry and Meghan have shown, when you focus on what's important, shit gets done. I got a little carried away with that one. I was sitting here listening to it like, oh man, I didn't realize it was that long, but I meant every word of it. I find Harry and Meghan to be really inspiring on that front of letting people just say and do and think whatever they want to. Once they got their story out, provided their receipts, they were like, okay, that was the last, we're gonna talk about it. As they told us, this is their chapter of joy. And one of the things that I'm so impressed by is that their chapter of joy highly entails helping other people. How the media can continue to warp other people's view of them is just crazy. That means people are consenting to having a warped view of them. There was a comment I wanted to highlight that kind of brought me back to that point. Hi, 1111. 1111 says, exactly. That's why I don't respond to derangers anymore. Waste of time to try to reason with people who want to misunderstand. And that part stuck out to me. Some people do not want to be informed. I remember one of my great aunts used to say, ignorance is lack of knowledge, but stupidity is the rejection of it. And I have never let that go. Some people really do reject knowledge. And you have to just allow people to be that way. You have to allow people to be and feel and act however they want to, because sometimes you trying to help other people can bring you down. I want to share something super quick. I did a little survey on Twitter before I got rid of my Twitter account or stopped posting on it. I did a little survey about a situation I had that I was just completely baffled by, like genuinely baffled by. Like I said in the segment, I have a habit of trying to help and overplaying my hand and like not just sometimes letting people just do them. But I had a loved one. And when I say a loved one, I mean a loved one. I love this person down. I love this person a whole lot. This is a person in my real life. And this person has been experiencing a very toxic relationship. And when I say toxic, I mean cheating, arguing, fussing, cussing, the whole nine. Now, I'm just at a place where my little old heart can't take it. If we got too much tension, I got to roll out. And so as this person was telling me this, I'm trying not to judge and I'm trying to just be an advocate for them. And I'm like, hey, you don't deserve to live in an environment like that. You don't deserve to, and they don't live together, but they're dating. And I said, you don't need to be with someone who would speak to you that way, because this person had told her she was washed up, she was too old to get anybody better, and he was just accepting her and she should be grateful for it. I could not believe the stuff that was coming out of this person's mouth. And I'm gonna stop there so that it's not easily identifiable to that person. I don't want them to feel isolated or on the spot. But the stuff this person was telling me, I honestly was just like, huh? Like I couldn't believe it. But I didn't want to judge her for hearing that stuff and accepting it. I was judging him. And so as she finished, I said, listen, you don't need to tolerate that. You are so much better than that. And if you're all these negative things and he's running after you, then what does that make him? You might be all those things, but he's a step lower. How about that? So why don't you take your little lowly self and find somebody else and let him stay lowly by himself? And so I'm like trying to uplift her. And I'm like, he sounds like a whole psychopath. Now, again, I'm only getting one side of the story. I don't know, what else has gone on. And so I don't claim to know this guy. I intentionally don't meet people's partners until they've been together for a while, because I don't want them thinking we friends. I only know you because of this person. And so they're telling me about all this toxicity in their relationship. And I voiced my concern. I said, hey, no judgment, but I'm concerned that you would even tolerate that. And I think it's an indicator of how you might be feeling about yourself. And I'm a pray for you, but I also want you to go to therapy. I want you to start practicing some positive self-affirming behaviors. I want you to take control of your life so that this person's words don't affect you. And the fact that you're sharing his words with me tell me a lot about that you believe them. They tell me a lot about how you perceive that he's wrong. You're an amazing person. And I would tell you if you weren't. Y'all know I'm honest. And so I said these things and I said, and he just genuinely, even if you had provoked him or made him angry or whatever, to say those things, he's an asshole. And that's what I said. This girl had put him on the phone. So I was shocked. I was sitting there and I'm talking to her and I'm like, he sounds like an asshole. You don't need to tolerate that. This is a family member, somebody I love. And I said, you don't need to tolerate that. Next thing I know, I hear his voice. Who are you talking about? You talking about me? So of course I respond because I don't back down. I got too many cousins, a husband and a daddy. I'll argue with you all day. So all this going on. And I hung up. We ended up ending the call. And I'm talking to a friend of mine about it. And I'm like, I'm feeling so violated. I felt so violated for her to share my conversation with someone else, but also the very person she's complaining about. All of it was just crazy. And the friend of mine who just happens to be a therapist, but she's not my therapist. The friend of mine said, your first mistake was giving her advice that she already had. She said that woman knows all the stuff that you were saying to her. She already knew that. She was just looking for attention or from drama, and she needed it. She needed an adrenaline rush. So she roped you into this. And she said, and secondly, some people can't be saved because they want to be where they are. They like the attention they get from being a victim. They like the attention they get from always being on the receiving end of negativity. They like having something to talk about, and they might not be doing things in their life that are positive. So always having conflict and being able to like, girl, let me tell you about our argument yesterday. Or girl, let me tell you, I called him cheating. She said, some people genuinely enjoy the back and forth. Some people like I'm gonna cheat back and I'm gonna cheat first. She said, some people genuinely like to be there. And she said, I'm gonna give you this advice. I would work on my discernment about who actually needs help and needs my energy and who just wants to put me in their mess. She said, because I've seen a lot of people die behind trying to help loved ones out of domestic situations. That stuck with me. And that was a week or 2 weeks ago. And that stuck with me. I haven't taken another phone call from that person because I said, you can't love me too much doing that. But I bring that up to say, I have had that in my head for 2 weeks since my friend said, some people like being where they are, even when it's negative. You just cannot force people to be the best version of themselves. You cannot force people to meet their potential. You just can't force people to be informed, to be smart, to operate with integrity. You genuinely just can't. And I appreciated her checking me on that because that is a habit of mine. I appreciate her saying, if I were you, I would focus on my discernment. Who needs to be saved and who don't deserve my energy? Because I've seen people die behind domestic situations. That's a pretty big statement to me. And I'm sharing that because that's an extreme version of the same point, but I had to share it because one, that was just insane. But then two, some people like being where they are, even though they know it's not okay, even though they know it's not positive, even though they know it's a negative place to be and it's toxic. And if you get too close, whether you're lending out a helping hand or not, they will pull you in instead of allowing you to pull them out. And so I'm kind of taking that same perspective about, just like you said, 1111 derangers, people who intentionally attack. I've told y'all before, somebody came at me on this channel. I don't really talk about any other celebrities. I only talk about Harry and Meghan as public figures, and the royals by association. But somebody came at me the other day because I mentioned Beyonce in a video, and they were like, well, she's roped in with those. I said, if you are here, then you are actively against misinformation and disinformation. And I'm going to need you to the left. I'm going to need you to move on around. We don't do the misinformation and disinformation. Beyonce nor Jay-Z have anything to do with that crazy man, but they know him. They're colleagues, but none of them or Meghan, Jay-Z and Beyonce have not been mentioned in any of those lawsuits or anything like that by any investigator, none of that. So I was just like, y'all, if you're here, I'm surprised you fell for that. Like, we talk about misinformation and disinformation a lot. I can't believe they fell for that. But also I want to cover something too. Before we went to the segment, I mentioned Meghan holding her tongue, which I'm working on that. I'm working on it. Meghan, give me time to catch up. I'm working on holding my tongue. But Meghan holding her tongue because, during the situation with William sending his personal assistant, that was Jason Knopf. I cannot believe I blocked that man's name out my head. How many videos have I done talking about Jason Knopf, especially since he claimed to be from Texas? But how many videos have I talked about? I could not catch that man's name for anything. I was like, was it Simon Case? No, who was it? I was sitting here. I said, dang, my brain literally said, we just gonna put him in the discard bin. I was like, dang, I must really can't stand him to be blocking his name out like that. But I genuinely couldn't remember it. So when I went on break, I was like, okay, let me make sure I correct that because I said the wrong name. But I want to get to a couple of comments that came through. Oh, wow. Hi, Patricia Marcel. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the Royal Court. I hope you enjoyed the exclusive content and perks you have access to. And don't forget to leave me a comment and let me know what your thoughts are. I try to respond to all the comments on the members' videos. So don't forget to share your opinions and thoughts with me on those videos. All right, let's read this comment from CR. Hi, CR. CR says, I'm glad you said that. I have to allow people to think whatever. Recently, a professor claimed I cheated because my grammar was too good. I was deeply offended. You have a right to be offended. First of all, this professor sounds really short-sighted. I'm gonna say it like that because I'm not trying to get you kicked out of school. He sounds they sound very short-sighted, and they sound like they've got some hangups with their own biases. And I would implore you to share that feedback with whomever that you need to, and acknowledge the bias in that statement, because that's a problem. And plagiarism will follow you in an academic career. So you have to be on top of that. Even an implication of plagiarizing or some sort of cheating can ruin your whole academic career. I've seen people lose their entire degree and their jobs and all kinds of stuff because of a false claim like that. So hopefully you have escalated that to the powers that be, or at least roped them in. A lot of times I'll start with my advisor if I have an issue with a professor, and they'll guide me of like, okay, this is who you want to talk to about that, etc. So hopefully you escalated that, because that could follow you, and that's not fair. They also need to address their own bias. Everybody has a bias. Everybody has, blind spots, but you should not be exercising those biases, especially when you're in a position of power. I'm so sorry you went through that CR. But I'm glad that you spoke on it, and I hope that you escalate that. Sure do. Hi, Corneli. Corneli says, the Sussexes are a role model for the left behind royals. I love all the names y'all have for them over there on that island, because the Sussexes are a gift for the world because of their tireless efforts in social work. I could not agree more. I just love this statement. I really appreciate you sharing that. But yeah, they are the blueprint. They are doing it their way. They're blazing a trail. They are pioneers. They are the first of their kind when it comes to the type of work they do as royals. So I'm really proud of them. But I also hope this is a sign of things to come. I hope that I'm not trying to rope other people in, but I hope little Charlotte and little Louis see that I don't have to be in my brother's shadow for the rest of my life. I can actually go out and do some good. I could go, express myself and pursue my passions. Look at Princess Eugenie and Beatrice. Like, they're royals and they get to pursue stuff. So I really think that seeing how Harry and Meghan have really fully dedicated themselves to the work, but they're not taxpayer funded, that should be on the minds of every citizen in the UK. That should be on the mind. That should be like, I don't have to, pay for you. Look at what Harry and Meghan are doing. You're marketable. Well, they could be if they tried, I'm sure. They're marketable enough. They have fans that be going hard for them. They'll buy their products and stuff. Y'all go ahead and fund yourselves. We shouldn't be having to pay for the upkeep of your palaces, especially when you have a pedophile living in one of them. We shouldn't have to deal with that. So I hope that's on the mind of everybody in the UK. Like, we ain't got to pay for them. Hi, then SG123. They said they want to find dirt on them so bad. And I highlighted this because, yes, it feels like the media, they want to find any kind of discrepancy or fallacy. They want something to be wrong with what Harry and Meghan are doing or saying. And for the life of me, I'm just like, couldn't y'all just get a whole lot more clicks by just talking about what they are doing? You don't have to be on the wrong side of right. You could make money by reporting on what they are doing. And you would probably have you would have a whole lot more access if you were operating with integrity. Somebody need to blaze the trail and lead the way. Hi, Gwen Daniel. Gwen Daniel says, Charles and William are the ones cheating on people. See, that's the part that makes me mad, because of the rumors of Harry and Meghan separating when they have given no indication that they're separating. And the only proof that those people have that they're separating is that they attend different events separately. Every married person can tell you, I don't go everywhere with my husband and he don't go everywhere with me, especially when work is involved. And even when they were still within the royal fold, a great example of how they execute is that when they went to South Africa, Meghan went to engagements during the day and Harry went to engagements during the day. And most of those engagements were separate. It's particularly when Meghan went to Johannesburg. Harry didn't go with her. They've been doing this cover more ground, divide and cover more ground and come back together. They've been operating like that. All the royal couples do that. So I find that to be really crazy. They did the same thing in Nigeria. So I don't get how anybody even believes that nonsense. And I feel like more people need to be a voice against that kind of thing and being like, y'all lying about this. Y'all made that up. But not enough people are going to argue about it because it validates something in them. Most of those people who hate Harry and Meghan don't want to see Meghan in the position she's in. Most of those people, especially those pundits, they wanted to be with Harry. And they think Meghan took him from her or took him from them. He was never going to date you, boo. And you know who I'm talking about, Kinsey. So a lot of them feel personally afflicted with Meghan's presence. And they don't feel like a Black woman or a biracial woman should have what they think they should have, or the perfect English rose should have. They just gonna have to get over it. I don't know what to tell you. Hi, Cory. Cory. Is that how I'm supposed to read that? Okay. Applying real pressure to these narratives takes a lot. It does. The media will come out with a narrative out of nowhere. They will pull a story out of their behind, trying to keep up with all that stuff. And like Meghan said, it was like whack-a-mole. We would combat one story, another one will pop up, another one will pop up. That's why Sussex Squad save your energy. We have real stuff to be talking about and doing. We're not going to give them any more of our energy. They don't have Harry and Meghan's energy. So I think we should follow that precedent. Hi, Mina Ruth. Mina Ruth says, or Mina Ruth 2093 says, not you playing Red Dead Redemption. It's one of my little vices. I love me some Arthur Morgan. Okay, I have a couple more comments that I wanted to track down. Hi, Benjamin Padilla. It's good to see you. Benjamin says, you trying to help people can bring you down. Thanks, Sharion. I needed to hear that with family and friends. Yes, especially around the holidays. I just attended this workshop online for how to deal with difficult people, family, and conflict. And it was so good. If they do another one, I'll link it on my page. I'll post as a YouTube post so people can attend. It's free, but it was so enlightening of just how to let people be who they are and do you. And if people don't like how you're operating, how to tune that out, because people will certainly project and impose their opinions on you and you didn't ask them nothing. So I'm glad you got something out of that. That is a lesson I am currently trying to hold on to. I'm not doing great, but I'm currently trying to hold on to them. Yes. Hi, Gwen Daniel. Gwen Daniel says some people you can't help. They'll put you on the spot. Yes, sure will. Or they'll try to finagle you to fight their battles. That's as me as an open advocate. Like I love advocating for people, especially people who I feel like could use support. I will always advocate for people when they're in the right and help people when they're in the wrong. And I've noticed that sometimes that gets exploited by people, particularly in the workplace. I've had people share concerns with me and then I'll go to bat for them and they'll be like, I thought it was fine. I didn't see nothing wrong with it. And I'm like, you told me you had an issue with the live chat. And I'm sitting here going to bat. You have to just not be used like that. And that's my lesson. I'm trying to learn that the balance between being a helpful person and then putting myself in a bad position and sacrificing myself for other people's benefit. You just can't do that. That's a self-care thing. Truly. That's not me self-affirming. You know, I have to do better with that. So I try to be as vulnerable and honest as I can because we're all working on something. Hi, Black Queen. It's good to see you. Black Queen is a moderator and a member. It's so good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And you changed your profile picture. You look so pretty. I love your profile picture. But Black Queen says, pick-me's are a real doozy. Oh, gosh, because they will certainly get you killed. They will get you killed. You have to be careful about male-centered women. They will get you hurt. So I try to remember that. Hi, Cornelly. Cornelly says, I'm so proud of you, Sussex Squaddies. Please keep on supporting the Sussexes and the good work that they do. I completely agree. The Sussex Squad comes out in droves to support every event Harry and Meghan have, especially when they have the public out there. You will hear people screaming, I'm the Sussex Squad. We're from the Sussex Squad. That just warms my heart because I know they appreciate all that support, especially because y'all know the British tabloids will send people there just to boo. I have noticed that, especially in New York, the night of the car chase, that night when Meghan and Harry were getting out of the car, there was somebody on the outside booing them and then yelling. And he happened to yell. He had a British accent. And everybody caught him, was like, oh, you were sent there just to bother them folks. Then we know how the night ended. So anyway, good for the Sussex Squad for putting some sort of protective barrier around Harry and Meghan and supporting the work that they do. It's not easy being on the right side of issues sometimes. It can be really daunting when you see just how many people are committed to nonsense. It can be a lot. Let me get to some more of these comments. Uh-oh. Hi, 1111. 1111 says they are already trying to give Louis the rebellious, mischievous archetype. Yes, they are. When Harry told William how they would be detrimental, he told Harry to mind his business about his kids. And see, as an uncle, I feel so bad for Harry because truly, if any of y'all have nieces and nephews, you already know you'll go to bat for them and you just want the best. But Harry, having been being the person who was in the same predicament, he could inform William better than anyone. And the fact that William rejected that, what did I just say? An ignorant person doesn't have information. A stupid person rejects it. William is stupid as hell. Anyway, Let me know. I could do this all day. Okay, let's get to the next segment and then we'll continue the discussion on the other side. The Archewell Foundation has released their 2023-2024 Impact Report. Now, we've talked about a couple of highlights that were published as exclusives to People magazine, but I would like to go through the report like we always do and talk about some of the amazing things that the Archewell Foundation was able to accomplish between 2023 and 2024. It says, we are proud to share the Archewell Foundation's annual Impact Report, detailing our work over the past year. In a world that often feels divided, there are moments that stand out, reminding us of the power we hold when we unite. As we reflect on this year, we are grateful to the communities and partners who have joined us on this journey. Together, we are building a future of purpose, belonging, and joy, and we invite you to be part of it. Well, I would like to humbly accept your invitation.
A safer world is possible, and together we can and will make it happen. Thank you.
Because when you show up in community, you find that group that makes you feel like home, but oftentimes you also find yourself again.
Every single one of you inspire me and you inspire us every single day. So please continue to be there to support each other. Here's the 25.
It starts by saying, in a world that often feels fractured, there are moments that cut through the noise, reminding us of our strength when we stand together, resilience, courage, and a commitment to something greater than ourselves. This year at the Archewell Foundation, we've witnessed the transformative power of human connection, of people reaching across divides to uplift one another. Our purpose is simple yet impactful: to show up, do good, to drive positive change, rally for communities in need, and nurture spaces where everyone is seen, valued, and supported. In 2024, we were honored to work alongside communities, families, and individuals who, despite facing tremendous hardship, are redefining what's possible. We are inspired by the families and the Parents Network, who have turned profound pain into purpose, advocating for a future where no parent has to experience the devastation caused by online threats to their children. They're leading the charge for safer, thoughtfully designed digital spaces. We are moved by the women of the Welcome Project, who create gatherings for those forced to leave their home countries. Together, they find strength and solace in new communities, building powerful support networks far from where their journeys began. We are energized by visionary young leaders and innovators shaping safer, more inclusive digital world. Their bold ideas are making waves on the world stage, transforming conversations and pushing boundaries. Each story and connection deepens our belief in the power of coming together. As we look back on this year, we are grateful to the communities and partners who have joined us on this journey. Together, we are building a future of purpose, belonging, and joy, and we invite you to be part of it. With hope and gratitude, James and Shauna. Our work at the Archewell Foundation is underpinned by the core belief that mental health and our collective well-being are paramount. We continue to activate this belief through our principal programs, the Archewell Foundation Parents Network and the Welcome Project. Earlier this year, we formally launched the Archewell Foundation Parents Network, a community for parents and caregivers whose children have experienced online harm. This collective serves as a safe space for parents to come together, find healing, and take action as we work towards a safer and better online world. In its second year, the Welcome Project has expanded to new locations, offering recently resettled women opportunities to connect and build community. Each project is addressing the intense social isolation faced by resettling women, providing them with a safe space and a sense of belonging. Both core programs have positively impacted the mental health of parents and women by fostering community building as a key to our collective well-being. These programs will continue to offer safe spaces where individuals can find healing and joy together. I just wanted to take a super short break to say, if you have not already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you are interested, feel free to participate in the live chat going on now, or feel free to leave a comment if you do not wish to engage in the live chat. Once again, I know I do this all the time. I'm enjoying a channel, I'm enjoying the video, I'm just having a great time, and I completely forget to hit subscribe. So please don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to comment if you wish, and please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button so that the algorithm on YouTube knows that you like my content. Now, let's get back to the show. The media has been having an extremely big reaction to the fact that Meghan is the CEO of her own lifestyle brand and company, American Riviera Orchard. And the fact that they're having this big reaction in December is quite telling, and I will tell you why. Now, for some of them, actually the majority of them, who are talking about the fact that she's the CEO of her own company, by the way, they're basically saying it's because that she was one, quote, a bully in the past. We've debunked those rumors. We're not even going to go back down that road. But they're saying it's because she's been a bully before, or she doesn't know how to run a company, et cetera, et cetera. Intermisogyny and racism here. That's why she struggled to find a CEO. However, the fact that they're saying that now in December is quite peculiar to me, considering People magazine debunked that rumor way back in August. All of this criticism is coming on the heels of Page Six confirming that Meghan is CEO of her own company and lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard. However, back in August of this year, Rachel Birchfield and Erin Hill, two very popular royal reporters for People magazine, published an article debunking that rumor. Meghan quietly prepares lifestyle brand launch for later this year. CEO search rumors debunked. Right there. I mean, this was way back in August. Meghan Markle is gearing up for the launch of her new lifestyle brand. A source tells People that the Duchess of Sussex has been busy working behind the scenes to prepare for the launch of American Riviera Orchard, slated for later this year. The source also dismisses claims that Meghan has been struggling to find a CEO for her brand, leading to delays in its launch, clarifying that these reports are untrue. An insider previously told People that Meghan's new venture will reflect everything that she loves: family, cooking, entertaining, and home decor. The insider added that the Duchess of Sussex is excited about her latest personal venture. So you might ask yourself, well, if this rumor was debunked way back in August, and it was known way back then that she would be her own CEO of her own company, then why are they talking about it now in December? Simply put, Harry and Meghan are gearing up for a very big December, a very big January, and the Invictus Games in February. Now, my personal opinion is that she's likely timing the launch of American Riviera Orchard to align with everything else that they have launching. You don't want your projects to compete with one another. You want to be able to keep the focus of your audience. So why would she launch at the same time as Polo, and at the same time as the Diana Awards, and at the same time as Harry's art exhibit for Bali? There is a lot coming down the pipeline. Things have to move, and we have to be flexible with our projects. She's just being smart. But as far as her being the CEO, this was already confirmed earlier this year. Media has a vested interest in getting their readers to hate Harry and Meghan. This is more plays from the same old playbook that they have been applying to Harry and Meghan since they became a couple. And it all boils down to the invisible contract, the deceptive royal family, Murdoch. Take your pick. We have combed through the reasons why they do this negative spin 1,000,001 times, and we're just not going to keep dwelling there. But the fact of the matter is, this is what they do. They find some innocuous fact about Harry or Meghan, something we've been knowing all year long, or since earlier this year. Meghan's the CEO of her own brand, and they put a negative spin on it and served it back to their readers. It's so they can get clicks. What they've been doing. But the fact that they're doing this in December is the part that really triggered me. And when I took a look, I said, oh, it's because, we got Polo coming up, and we've got the new art exhibit that was just announced this week. And then we also have the Diana Awards, which will be tomorrow. And if you want to attend virtually, you can use the link in the description box to attend. They have so much coming up that they have to put a negative spin on it, because if not, then people will realize that the media has been deceptive all along. Also, a large portion of Harry and Meghan's work, particularly through Archewell Foundation, has been combating media disinformation and misinformation. Well, that works against the tabloids. So they're going really hard to undermine their influence, and they're going to great lengths to do it. So that's why I paid that no mind. I was just like, okay, so y'all are coming at the lady about being her own CEO of her own company, especially now that it's launching. It's not like this is an old company that she acquired or that she's been working alongside or working with for a long time. It's new. It's literally her baby. It's her vision. And if she wants to execute it in the way that she wants it to be executed, I wish her all the best. And I actually support that decision. I find it to be insane that people have anything to say about what she does with her company, one, but then two, are attacking her and trying to make it seem like, oh, because she was a bully in the past, that's why she has to be her own CEO. Or is it because she wants to do the job because she knows how she wants it to be done? And especially since the company is new, she wants to establish everything from the get-go. Now, if down the line, after everything's been launched and established, she chooses to get a CEO, well, then that's bringing somebody into an existing company. So then they will adopt the policies, procedures, etc., and they know how to follow the format. There's a precedent here being set. And since the company is new, it's better for her, who knows what the vision is, to be hands-on with it. It's actually a smart business move. And as we've seen, especially this year, Meghan is nobody's fool, especially when it comes to business. Mama knows what to do. She might call herself a dolphin in the business world, but I truly believe you're just a really friendly shark. You know what to do. Can't nobody get over on you, ma'am. But I personally feel like people, who do you think you are? Remember when I said that I feel like there's this tone from the tabloids and from the detractors who hate her. And I call them detractors, like just people who are determined to dislike Meghan no matter what she does. But from those people, there's a tone of like, who do you think you are? How dare you live on your own terms? How dare you do things that fulfill you? How dare you not let yourself be a doormat? How dare you? Who do you think you are? And I love that she just puts it right back in their face. You can sit there with your negativity, but you're not going to control me. I actually think it's a great idea. And even if down the line she decides to get another CEO, by all means. But I think it's great that she's establishing it the way that she wants it to be established and then setting a precedent. And from that point forward, whoever comes on board, they now understand what the vision is. And then they can execute from that point forward. I have no notes, all support, no notes. But I want to read this conversation. I want to read this comment from Rositas. Hi, Rositas. Thank you so much for tuning in and for commenting. She says, the nerve, misogyny, racism, misogynoir to be hateful about a woman being CEO of the company she founded. She was CEO of the TIG too. So she has previous CEP experience. That and the fact that she just knows what her vision is. Yes, I completely agree. But people forget, I'm glad you brought that up, Rosita. People forget that the TIG was a business. Wasn't it like a 6-figure business, might I add? Like she was actually working and executing. When she wasn't on Suits, in the off season, she was still working. I shared a couple of interviews where she was promoting the TIG and doing projects for the TIG and posting and talking about writing articles and interviewing people, particularly Michelin star chefs. Like that was a whole business. I know how hard it is to just run a YouTube channel. Like, and it seems like it's not a lot, but there are so many freaking factors and so many analytics and so much information. It was overwhelming at first. And I went really slow. And I know what it is to establish a YouTube channel on a platform that helps you run it. Like YouTube support actually helps me run my channel. And that was a challenge. Having my own website where everything is run by me and everything is spearheaded by me and pioneered by me and executed by me. I don't know how she did it. She does not stop. Something in that green juice, it gives her energy for real. I might need to try her green juice recipe because, ma'am, you are executing at a very high level. And I love that she dedicates herself to her work, but I actually do support the fact that she's being hands-on. She's not just acquiring things and being like, okay, you can run however you want to. She has a vision. And because both Harry and Meghan care about the things that they spend their time on, they will get involved. They do roll up their sleeves and get to work. If you read that Us Weekly exclusive from their employees, all of them said that they were easy to work with, but they were really hard workers. That doesn't come by accident. They're dedicated and they want it to be successful and they want it to be in the way that they want to do it. When you are putting quality or when you are doing work with quality and putting care into everything you do, it does take you going the extra mile. So doing it from your own, based on your own standards, but also doing it with your own bare hands, especially when you're trying to launch it and set a precedent. I don't see anything wrong with that. I completely agree with you, Rosita. I could not believe that people were, they're going to find something. Let me just stop being in disbelief. They're going to find something. So I may as well get used to it. Let's see here. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to get a comment. Okay, let me get a comment so that we can read it together. Hi, Corneli. Corneli says, look, left alone if you are a fan of Meghan or not, you cannot deny that this woman called Meghan equals busy instead of lazy, like the other one who cannot stand his. No, genuinely, I feel like if Meghan didn't work as hard as she does, people would have a complaint about that. They'd be like, oh, she's just, living off whatever. Just if she isolated herself and didn't come out, they'd be like, oh, she's just living on the high on the hog. She doesn't contribute to society. The fact that this woman not only contributes to society, but is her and her husband are literally pioneering a whole new blueprint of how to do it. To have a complaint about that, I feel like that says a lot more about the people complaining and nothing about Harry and Meghan. Let me get to some of these comments. Hi, Isilda Pasley. Thanks, Sharion. We love you. And in my opinion, you are honest. Oh, well, thank you. Yes, I'm honest. But if I'm wrong, I'll certainly correct myself because I've gotten stuff wrong before or didn't completely share every detail that could be shared about things. So I'm quick to give an update and be like, y'all, we talked about this. This is what I missed. But yes, I will always be honest. And if I'm wrong, I will always try to correct it and be right. But I appreciate that. I love y'all too. And I really appreciate the support. Hi, Corneli. Corneli says, the only thing in which William and Kate have beaten the Sussexes is separate attending events. Please make a list of it. Start with William going to America, Singapore, South Africa, and so far. I mean, that is exactly my point. And it's very clear there is something going on with William and Kate. She just missed some white tie event, surprisingly missed it. Like they thought she was going to be there and she didn't attend. There is clearly some dissension. I have actually seen some articles come out and I didn't read them. I didn't click them, but I saw the headlines about her and William being at odds about Prince George and where he's going to go to school. Now, I remember that same story coming out last year about Kate and King Charles being at odds over where George will go to school. So, and I talked about it then. So it's clear that there's some tension somewhere. And you know who is never implicated in any of these stories? Camilla. So that's how you know where it's coming from. But at the end of the day, they're clearly ignoring the very real red flags with William and Kate. So the fact that they try to say Harry and Meghan are separating, but all the content you see of them, every appearance you see of them together, they could not be more loved up. They couldn't say more glowing things about each other. They could not be more in love, but they're separating because they worked separately a couple of times. But William and Kate literally jeer at each other and sneer at each other and pull away from each other and eye roll. Y'all remember when they were at the Royal Ascot and she tried to hold his hand and he gave her that death stare and then snatched his hand away? Do y'all remember when Kate announced her cancer, which turned out to be just precancerous cells allegedly, but her cancer, and he wasn't nowhere to be found? You not standing by your wife when she announces this to the world? I could not believe there wasn't more outrage about that, especially from the people who claim to be her fans. Now, that's when I was like, y'all not good fans, because let me tell you this. If the person I'm supporting, let Beyonce announce something crazy like that and Jay-Z not be by her side, I'm about to be in them comments putting bees, the little bee emoji. I'm about to be on his hands. Like, if you really support Kate, to the derangers, the way y'all claim y'all do, which she's really just a prop to hold up against Meghan because they just want to be racist. So they support Kate because they think it helps them be racist and be racist covertly. It doesn't. We see you. And she knows y'all don't really support her. That's why when they put up those crowd barriers, nobody was out there. She know y'all don't like her for real. You're just filled with hate. But no, the fact of the matter is if somebody I support is announcing something that important, especially in the sentence claiming or in the announcement claiming my husband is by my side 100% of the way. Ma'am, where is the husband in the room with us now? Some things have to be seen, not heard, and he is not behind you 100% of the way. But the fact that they are ignoring all the very real red flags with William and Kate and then drawing literally just anything that they can out of Harry and Meghan and trying to make it negative. It's like you're doing so much more work than you have to. You are working twice as hard to make up a lie when you could just report what's in front of you. But again, the invisible contract. And that's why they hate Harry, because he exposed all their asses. That's why they can't stand him, because now we're equipped with the information. We know what's going on for real. We're not going to fall for it. And they are really bitter about it. Let me get to the next comment. Hi, Simon Coralita. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate your support. Hi, Benjamin Padilla. Benjamin Padilla says, this goes along with the continual narrative of who does the Black woman think she is. They're mad because she accomplishes things. Same old, same old. It's really sad. Right there. I cannot say it better. That's 100% it. They really want her to play herself down. And isn't that an age-old story? If you are a Black woman and you've been in corporate, you already know what it is. If you went to a predominantly white high school, you already know what it is. You understand what, and we just had CR comment that her professor actually, or their professor said they think that they're cheating because their grammar was too good. Like, excuse me? Those microaggressions, they come swiftly, don't they? And they're everywhere. But they mostly come from people that I'm not racist, but ... What's on after that but? Hi, Gwen Daniel. Gwen Daniel says they're trying to hide what pegging William and Clueless Kate are not doing. They really are. They're trying to cover for them, genuinely. And if they were any kind of real supporters or fans of them, they would be pointing out how he treats Kate. Like, he is really ugly to Kate. Really ugly. And if they liked Kate even a little bit, they would be like, dang, William is kind of an a-hole to her. Like, nobody should be treated like that, especially by their husband. Like, nobody should be rude, but the person laying next to you, or I don't think they, let me hush. The person allegedly laying next to you, the person who's sharing meals with you, the person, which I have heard allegations that they don't actually live together. I don't know, because I don't know them people, but it would make sense. And we also talked about Diana, her true story in her own words, by Andrew Morton, and how Diana described how the royal family handles separate couples who are separate behind the scenes, but are publicly facing still married, or their publicly facing image is still married. And she talked about how they would show up to events behind the scenes and then get in the same car, but then they would leave and they would go to separate homes. Even when Princess Diana's dad died, Charles flew back to Highgrove while she got in the car. Like, he didn't even sit with her when her dad died. Like, he was an awful man. He is let me not go down that road. But anyway, a lot of what Diana described, how the royal family handled her and Charles's separation behind the scenes, is very similar, if not identical in most cases, to what we see William and Kate do, especially how they treat each other, especially when they show up to events and you can tell they did not consult with one another about what they're wearing. Like, it's small things like that. As a married woman, I've only been married 8 years. It's not like I'm just this old soul with wisdom, but there's certain things, like when I'm leaving the house, if me and my husband are walking out at the same time, we'll kind of take it in, like, okay, you wearing black and white, okay, cool. And we kind of have some sort of commonality, but we don't have to dress alike. We're certainly not them little matchy couples, but there's some sort of cohesion to what we're wearing as a couple. You can tell William and Kate, they don't even be seeing what each other's wearing. A lot of times when we see them, it looks like it's the first time they've seen each other. And something that was really telling about William, again, I'm just saying what I've observed. I can't say any of this for sure. So let's say allegedly, and let me make sure I put this up here so y'all know I'm just sharing what my thoughts are. But I remember when William said he's been growing out his beard for a couple of weeks. And he said the first time Charlotte saw it, she cried. And I said, wait, if you've been growing your beard for a few weeks, then why did Charlotte not see it until it was grown in? I said, oh, okay. Let me mind my little business. Because a lot of times people will tell on themselves. You just have to stop and listen. But they are trying to project that whole separation onto Harry and Meghan when really the proof is in the pudding. Those people don't look like William and Kate do not look like they can stand each other. Even at her grand return, when they were on the balcony, he was giving her a death glare then. Like, she turned to say something to him and he said something really rude to her. I showed the video when it happened. He said something really rude and he was like, you know, when he get mad, that chin come out. He was like, he said something to her and she immediately put her head down. I saw that. And I don't even care for Kate, but I don't think anybody should be in an oppressive relationship, no matter what. This seems like what she signed up for. But at the end of the day, he shouldn't be treating her like that. And if he's willing to do that in public, I can only assume what he's doing behind closed doors, and I won't make my thoughts known because I can't say for sure. But it is concerning. It is concerning. And, the more they point the finger at Harry and Meghan, the more you didn't have to say anything to us about a separation. But now that you have, we see what's in front of us. See, if y'all hadn't been trying to attack Harry and Meghan, we wouldn't have acknowledged what William and Kate were doing because we don't care about William and Kate. We wouldn't have called them out for their little separation and pointed out all the different signs of them being separated behind the scenes. Had y'all left Harry and Meghan alone, and when I say y'all, I mean the media, they're trying to protect William and Kate, but methinks thou doth protesteth too much. You are trying too hard to point the finger when no one said anything about a separation. But now that we're on the topic, clearly William and Kate have some splaining to do. And it's very clear there's some sort of dissension behind the scenes. And I won't even try to assume. I'm just saying what I see. And as a married woman, only 8 years, so I'm not a veteran in the paint, but only 8 years of being married, I can say a lot of how they behave does not make sense to me. Even on a bad day, when we done grappled about the dishwasher, who gonna load or unload, when we irritated with each other, somebody forgot to turn the light off in the hallway, whatever we bickering about that day, there's still ways that I would never treat my husband, and he would never treat me. Like scolding me, first of all, scolding me in general, stop right there. Who you think you're talking to? Ring or no ring? Who you think? No, my husband would never. But scolding me in public? Take me to the attorney right now. I'm filing tonight. You're not about to scold me and snatch away from me the death glare. She was poking William in the booty. It was just so much chaos with those two. When the media tries to point at Harry and Meghan, I'm like, my head is still spinning from her poking him in the booty at the BAFTA Awards. My head is spinning from him snapping at her at the Royal Ascot. My head is still spinning from him snapping at her on the balcony. Pick one time, because he's done it several times. Like, the man acts like he can't stand her. And if they had any kind of common sense, they would stop focusing on Harry and Meghan, unless they're taking notes. But they would stop focusing on Harry and Meghan, and they would really sit down with some sort of PR or some sort of, what is the word? I can't remember, but somebody to help them market themselves appropriately, but also how to behave in public. They need some sort of lessons, because clearly they need to take some acting lessons. That's really what it is. An image consultant. They need to sit down with an image consultant or somebody and be like, listen, I hate her and I hate him, but we got to look like we love each other. What can we do different? Start off by picking your wardrobe that'll be cohesive, and stop arguing with each other in public. And also stop fighting in front of your kids, because it's clear something's going on, because Lil Louis was showing a lot. He was showing a lot. Kids, they act out what they see. And I thought that was very telling, the way he behaved. Y'all remember the time, was it the coronation? Y'all remember. So, oh no, it was the Jubilee. And so, not trying to be ugly and go in on them too hard, but I'm saying the more the media pokes fun or points the finger at Harry and Meghan, the more we're being enlightened about who they're actually trying to protect and what's really going on. So that's my thoughts on that. I won't keep going on and on. Let me read some of y'all's comments. Hi, Rosita's. Rosita says, William looks at Kate like something stank, or he has bad taste in his mouth. Diana did not want Charles at her father's funeral, but was forced to go with him to keep up the facade. That is true. She did not want him there, but she did talk about in her, Diana, her true story in her own words, the way it made her feel when he chose to fly to Highgrove and not be with her. Like, he didn't even offer her any kind of support. But yes, you are right. She chose to go to the funeral by herself. But when she found out that he died, Charles didn't offer her any support. And she said she felt very isolated. Like, even when you don't care for somebody, the basic human thing to do is to be like, I'm sorry you're going through that. I'm going to tell y'all, I remember a coworker of mine I could not stand. She was so rude to me. And low key, I felt like she was kind of racist. She was always sending microaggressions my way. Like, we would be in a luncheon and I would be talking and she would literally do this. Like, she was always sending me nonverbal hostility. And then she died. And you ever work with somebody that you don't like and they die? Like, that's so uncomfortable. I had so many complex emotions because I didn't want the woman to die. I felt so bad for her, but also I couldn't bring it, to myself to be just like too overt with my mourning, because I was just like, dang, that sucks for her. Wishing her family well. And I just kind of focused on being supportive to her family. And also her husband was really rude when I met him too. I felt like he had a hang up. I felt like he was racist, if I'm gonna be honest. And so when she passed, he was at our job a lot, trying to clean out her desk and stuff. And he was like coming up talking to me. And even when he was talking to me to ask me questions, he was still hostile, like not challenged, because with everyone else, he was sad and mournful and being like, yeah, we're going to get through it, blah, blah, blah. But when he would talk to me, he'd be like, do you know where I need to send this? But then he would talk to somebody else, particularly my white boss or my white colleagues, and be like, thank you so much for your help. Hey, where can I put this book? She wanted to return it. And then he would come back and ask me a question. Can I come back after 6 or do I need to wait on you? He was always hostile. So I just stopped answering him. I was like, ask somebody else. But that's so complex. Even though I could not stand that lady, and I certainly couldn't stand her husband, the human in me still wouldn't go too far because I knew he was mourning. just the human thing to do was to not make it worse. So I ignored him and I was like, go find somebody else, but I'm not going to argue with you. Had he not been mourning and talked to me like that, we would have had words. He shouldn't have been up there, no way. But the fact that he was mourning, just me on a human level, fully disliking him, still was like, you know, just be a human today. The fact that Charles couldn't even be a human today with his wife, like he couldn't even offer her the support. Her dad died, like, to this day, and she predicted her dad's death too, which is kind of crazy. But to this day, I think about some of those stories that she shared in her book, Diana, Her True Story, and I just think about, like, she was really alone. And Harry mentioned that in the Oprah interview when he said, you know, my wife was going through so much, but at least I had her. My mom didn't have anybody, and that's the truth. Reading her account, and even still, I don't think Diana shared everything because she really couldn't. She had to sneak those tapes to Andrew Morton, and she had to do everything covertly. She didn't get to just sit down. He did not interview her, so she didn't get to just sit down and just unload. Had she gotten a chance to unload, I feel like we would really hate Charles. I mean, even the fact that she talked about how that man won't even walk across the room to open his wardrobe. His butler had put out the wrong clothes or something he didn't want to wear. That man had gone downstairs to get the car. They were in a hotel and they were up a few stories. He waited for that man to get all the way downstairs, called him and told him to come back up and pick out some more clothes. And Diana was disgusted. She made her feelings known. Charles is a jerk anyway, but Diana was treated less than humanely. Like, her story makes me so sad. And especially since she's given so much to the world, the nicest and the most loving people get treated the worst. And that will never make sense to me. Let me get this comment. Hi, Benjamin Padilla. Benjamin says, I personally believe they are separated, just me. She didn't look happy yesterday. Notice her and Camilla missed each other. One at day event, the other at night event. You know, I haven't even seen anything of them recently. But I'm not surprised. They don't act like they like each other. And something is weird. You know who else is weird? And I haven't talked about this because I don't know what to make of it yet. Sophie and William have such a weird vibe when they interact. I can't put my finger on what it is, but there's something so offbeat about the way they interact. I'm still sorting out my feelings on it. I'll leave it there. But if you have noticed that, please tell me what you think it is, because now that I'm not informed about, but they always feel so offbeat to me. Something doesn't feel like it's gelling correctly for me. Hi, 1111. 1111 says, Harry said a lot of his family can't live and work together. I mean, I feel like sometimes he says things, or he said things to let them know, like, keep trying me. I'm tiptoeing near that water. You keep trying me. But yes, and I feel like we know exactly who he was talking about. Truly. Hi, Benjamin Padilla. Benjamin Padilla says, Sharion, the thing is, all the press knows. That's what gets me. It's nuts, but pointing the finger at Harry and Meghan. Right. If they would just leave it alone, it'd be like, okay, y'all don't have to talk about either of them. If you have to say something nasty, you don't have to say anything at all. You could choose to not say anything. We wouldn't even be paying attention if you hadn't brought it up. But they sure do. They tell on themselves every time. All right, y'all, I have taken up too much of y'all's time. Please continue to share your thoughts in the comment section below. I really appreciate y'all sitting with me today. I usually don't do live streams this early, but I'm trying to operate at Central Time now, and it's been kicking my butt. But thank y'all so much for watching. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video or live stream. Please don't forget to share. I'm trying to get as many subscribers. I was hoping to get 50,000 by the end of the year, but we are not angling for that now. Hopefully I get 32,000. Let's bring it on. I'll compromise. Hopefully I get 32,000. So if you could share so more people can find us, that would be wonderful. And please don't forget to comment with your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.